So now we look at the second method of making a salt. This time again, the salt is soluble salt, sodium chloride, which is a soluble salt. But the difference is that this time the base is not insoluble, it is soluble. The base is not insoluble, it is soluble. And acid, as I said, always usually is soluble. So suggest which acid should I use to make sodium
HCl.
chloride?
HCl
HCl.
and NaOH.
Why should I? Yeah.
NaOH.
Base has to be NaOH, and NaOH is a soluble base. It's an alkali. It's a water soluble base. It's an alkali. Okay, so this combination is going to give me sodium chloride. Now, in the previous case, when the base was insoluble, if you remember, we added the excess of base to the acid. We added excess of base to the acid because that was insoluble. Can I do the same thing in this case?
No, sir.
No, sir, because you can't remove it after the reaction takes place.
Perfect. Yeah, because this is aqueous. If I add excess of NaOH, the leftover NaOH will also be present along with the NaCl. So, and which I can't remove. No, so
Yeah.
I can't add excess of NaOH to the acid. Okay, fine. Can I add excess of HCl to the NaOH?
No, again, you can't remove it.
Again, the same problem. This guy is also aqueous. This is not insoluble solid, which the leftover which I can remove by filtration. So if I add excess of HCl, again that leftover HCl also will be present along with the salt produced. So what do I understand here is that when both the acids and base both are aqueous, both are soluble, you can't add any of them in excess. In other words, you have to add them in the correct amount, the amounts in which both will react with each other completely. They will react with each other completely. None of them will remain unreactive.
So how do you know that amount?
How do you know that? That's a very crucial question Shetty has asked. Okay, now here I have to first find out, I have to determine that how much to add. First, I have to get the answer to that question, how much to add, how much to add. So what I do is that I use a titration method. So what I do in the titration method, I have a burette, okay, and a conical flask. In one, I will add acid, in the other, I will add the base. Now, what do you add where? That doesn't matter. You can add acid in the burette, base in the conical flask, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But whatever you are adding in the conical flask, you should be aware of its volume. So let's say I add sodium hydroxide to the conical flask. So when I'm adding sodium hydroxide, I know the amount. Let's say I'm taking 25 centimeter cube. So I'm aware of what is the volume of the sodium hydroxide that I'm adding here. Okay, so I know the volume of this. Next, what I will do is that I will add indicator to this. Phenolphthalein, let's say. So that's pink. So that will turn the solution pink. And obviously the burette has acid. Now I will add acid to the base drop by drop. So each falling drop in the base of the acid, each drop of the acid falling in the base will react the NaOH gradually, like part by part, drop by drop, little by little. The NaOH will get reacted completely. And tell me what should happen when the last trace of NaOH is also reacted, is used up. What should happen?
It shouldn't react anymore.
Yeah, but what should I observe happening?
So no bubbles forming.
There were no
Okay.
bubbles anyway. The reaction does not have any gas produced, so there was no bubble.
Color change.
So there was no bubble anyway. Yeah. Any smarty there?
Color change.
Whose color will change?
Sodium hydroxide.
What was the color of
Because-
sodium hydroxide earlier?
So the indicator you add
So indicator is changing the color. Remember, sodium hydroxide is not colored. Sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, sodium chloride, water. All the four guys in the equation that you see, all are colorless. All look alike. All look like water. Okay, all look like water. So what will happen? Why was the indicator phenolphthalein pink in color there? Because it was in the base. Because it was in the base. Phenolphthalein is pink in the base. So what will happen when the added acid has used up all the base? What should happen? Should the indicator be pink still?
No.
So what is the color of the phenolphthalein in acid? It's
Colorless.
colorless. Colorless. So what will happen? The indicator will change the color. It will turn colorless. So when it turns colorless, I immediately stop adding.
So immediately the whole thing turns colorless, or it happens gradually?
It happens actually immediately, but exactly when it will happen, that you don't know. So you have to be careful while adding. Like you can't add at a fast speed. No, you have to add slowly, drop by drop, so that you don't miss out on that. You don't end up adding excess. So that's the reason why you should be very careful, and especially towards the end point, when it's about to change the color. At that time, you should really go slow, because if you overshoot, if you over add the alkali, then actually you have added excess of NaOH. So you don't have to add. Sorry, you have added excess of HCl. Okay, so you don't have to add
So,
excess of HCl. Yeah.
But once we've already done this like the first part of it, if
Yeah.
we've already done it, the next time we can add the same amount. Now we don't have to do it slowly then.
Yes. That's the whole plan. That's the whole idea. That's the
So
whole
that
idea.
doesn't change, right? So again,
Yeah.
every acid.
If you use the same solution, then that reading will not change. Anyway, coming to this, I added HCl drop by drop till all the NaOH is used up. But how will I come to know all the NaOH is used up? For that purpose, I have added that indicator there. The indicator will give me a signal. What is the signal? The color change of the indicator. When indicator changes the
Indicator
color,
won't take part in the reaction, right?
indicator doesn't take part in the reaction at all.
Yeah.
So
So which
indicator is just
indicator do we use again?
a phenolphthalein.
Phenolphthalein.
There is methyl
Okay.
orange. The color changes of the phenolphthalein methyl orange are given in the info book. Refer to that. So you should know which indicator will have which color in which in the acid, which color in the base, which color in the neutral. All right. So as I said, I add drop by drop acid to the base, but only till the color changes. When the color changes, I immediately stop adding. I stop adding because I know that all the base is just used up, because the indicator just changed the color. Now what I do is that, of course, this level of the acid which was here in the beginning would have fallen down, and the burette here is calibrated. Okay, the burette is calibrated. So what I do is that I note down the volume of acid that I added to use up the entire 25 centimeter cube here. Okay. Now assume that you had to add 23 centimeter cube. You had to add 23 centimeter cube of acid to the base to react the base completely. All right. So now at this particular point, do I have any acid left over in this? NaOH left over in this solution in the beaker, in the conical flask? Do I have any NaOH left over?
No.
No.
No,
Have
sir.
I added any excess of acid?
No.
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 So what exactly I have in this solution here? I do not have the
NaCl.
acid.
Yeah.
I do not have the base. What do I
NaCl and
have?
water.
NaCl and water. And there is a third guy also there.
The indicator.
The indicator.
Indicator.
The indicator is there. So do I have a pure salt yet?
No.
Is the solution is the solution in the conical flask a pure salt solution? No, there is an indicator.
No.
Substance compound also there. There is an indicator also there. So if I evaporate the water here, like the previous case, if I remove the water by evaporating and crystallization, I will get sodium chloride along with the indicator. So that will not be a pure sodium chloride. So what should I do? I can't see, there is a way to remove the indicator. You can use a charcoal. You can just add the charcoal. Charcoal will absorb all the indicator, but that's not a very refined method. That's a very crude method. So what best thing is that you repeat the experiment. Okay, redo this entire thing. Add, take 25 centimeter cube of NaOH in this beaker, in this conical flask, and add 23 centimeter cube of acid again,
Yeah.
but this time don't add indicator,
The indicator.
because
We
you
already
came
know
to
the
know
value.
that when I add 23 centimeter cube of HCl to 25 centimeter cube of NaOH, both of them get reacted.
Yeah.
Okay, so this time I did not add the indicator, so this time I don't have HCl left over, NaOH left over, I have only sodium chloride and water. So this solution now in the conical flask is a pure sodium chloride solution. It does not have any HCl left over, it does not have any NaOH left over.
And now it's same as the previous one.
Now what's the next step after this?
Evaporation.
Evaporation and crystallization, and heat till
Saturation point.
saturation point. Okay,
And then
heat till
and then
saturation
after
point.
Add the
And
glass
dab dry.
rod.
For the glass rod test to confirm that the saturation
Yeah.
point has occurred.
And then
Once-
dab dry.
Then filter the crystals.
Filter.
Oh yeah.
Okay, filter the crystals, and then dab dry.
Dab
So
dry.
basically, the process after the titration is same as the previous case. Okay, so I'm not elaborating, and I'm not elaborating in that. For that, you can refer to the previous step. Okay, the neutralization step. All right. So this is the way I get my pure crystals of sodium chloride. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
This process is labeled as, oh, sorry. Titration. This process is labeled as titration process. So titration process, when will you use? When
When there's
the
a
salt is soluble
part.
and
And the base
the
is
acid and the
soluble. And the
base
base.
both are soluble. Salt is
So
also
the
soluble,
whole-
acid and base both are soluble.
So the whole thing is titration, only the first part.
No, of course the first part is titration. The next part is evaporation, crystallization, then filtration, then dab dry with
Yeah.
filter drying process. But the entire process can be labeled as titration. Okay, so you can say if the question is what method will you use to make this salt, you'll say titration. Okay. Okay, but that's
Yes,
what
sir.
is what is differing from the distinguishing it from the previous method. The previous method is called as neutralization. Okay, when you add excess of the insoluble base, that is called as neutralization.
But isn't this neutralization also because an acid and base is reacting to form a salt?
I'm not talking about neutralization as a type of reaction. I'm talking about the process.
Okay.
Okay, neutralization as a type of reaction. Yes, even this is neutralization because this is acid plus base gives salt plus water. You're right.
Yeah.
But neutralization, that title is as the process. Like you asked, titration is only first step, or I said first step is titration. But here in the method of making salt, we label the entire process as titration. So when I'm saying titration method to make salt, it does not include this. You will not stop here. Of course, you'll proceed with the next steps also. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the second method to make salt.